All right, welcome back to the stream. Today we are going to be diving into some more NDC. So we're going to be looking at how to create a classic Wrobble. We're continuing on our idea from yesterday. If you didn't watch yesterday's session, be sure to go back and watch that session on how we create that Wrobble bass. So today we're going to make a bass talking Reaktor. So the first thing we're going to do, we start off with our patch here. And I've just done a basic patch, basic modular setup. I pre-wired this. So you should hear something that sounds like this. I'm going to change that sound to a saw. And we're going to make this sound, it sounds pretty boring right now. Just a basic tone. You can hear it. It's moving a little bit because I put the LFO on. So if I turn that off, it'll sound a lot different. But it sounds a little more interesting than it should because there's an LFO that's moving, both the resonance and the cutoff. That's a little bit later. We're going to get into that, but I'll explain that a little later. So in this any bass wobble, we want to feel like it's speaking. Not because of effects, but because of the filter movement. So I'm going to show you how to make a bass, say wow, yaw, wah, or whatever in Reaktor. And that's without touching distortion. So I'm going to do that and stick around for the result. So most people think that talking bass means formant or filters or crazy plugins, but it actually doesn't. Because the filter is what behaves like the mouth, pretty much. So this is our filter inside of Reaktor. It's called state variable filter. That's just the long form name of it. But yeah, it's state variable filter in Reaktor. And today we're going to use a basic saw wave right here, which I've dialed in. I'm going to organize this a little bit better so you guys can see signal flow a little bit more proper. So it should look something like that. It doesn't really matter which order they are, but it shows the signal flow, how it's supposed to go when I put it in order, and it's a good habit to do. So I just did it so that you guys can see. So we have one filter, we have smart modulation, and that's it. So this is the starting point. It's intentionally boring. So the bass can talk from this, and if it can't talk from this, it can't talk from anything pretty much. Right now, so there's no aggression. It's just a raw tone. You can hear that. And this is where most people get impatient. But this is where the magic starts, not ends. So we're going to dial in we have a low pass filter by default. I'm going to keep it here. And if I plug out these LFOs, you can hear the raw sound. It's just a steady tone. And it feels flat, like there's no movement. But what we can do is we're going to switch to bandpass. Get this in the middle range, and what that does is it isolates the speaking range of the just like in a human voice. Like when you listen to a telephone, your voice sounds different. Well, that's because there's a curve applied to it, and it looks like this. It's called a bandpass. So I can show you that on the scope. Let me just get you a spectrum here. So I'm going to bring in a spectrum so we can see what that sounds like, I guess. See what that sounds like? Yeah. So you can see that. It's a curve. Right here's the fundamental, and then we have the harmonics. So everyone is a multiple of the fundamental tone. We have a fundamental tone, which is here, around 250 hertz. And then as we go up, we have our enharmonics, which are multiples of that tone. and it goes up, multiplies, doubles each time. Just like, kind of think of it like octaves, but in different frequency ranges. So hopefully that makes sense. I didn't want to go too deep there, but I want to give you some background and some theory on how sound design works in principle and in practice. So I'm going to go back to our sound. We're going to move the cutoff and we're going to move the resonance. So we're going to add a filter LFO for that, for each of those things. So you can hear them moving now. You can hear them, it's moving up and down because that is a volume thing. A volume and a pitch thing. So they're moving vertically because we're applying an LFO, low frequency oscillator, which is causing our pitches to change slightly in frequency, moving up and down, or in volume. Well, what just happened? I don't know what that did. Okay. Let's see. That's weird. Let me just redo this. Oops. Yeah, okay. Here, I'll reconnect it. So we got our LFOs. And it looks like this. Let's just see how we're doing for time. Okay. Let's connect our LFOs, connect our gate. There we go. And why can't we hear anything? That's the only thing. Sometimes it does weird things. Okay. Let's see here. Let me reconnect these. Not sure why it's doing that. My LFO up? No. There we go. So we got our bass. So you can see that it's already wobbling. Let me save that. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna delete the second one. Okay, so you can hear it's already moving with not much effort. So we're gonna dial up that resonance and we should get a wah. See? We're getting a wah already. So we want to move this automatically. We don't want to move this manually. So we're going to go back. Open up our settings panel. And we're going to configure let's do MIDI learn. This one. Yep. So now we should have control over it. Take it off configure. Now we can just show some automation. We can dial some in. So resonance is rising while the filter is cutting off. We actually want them to be opposite. Resonance and cutoff should be moving together to create the best effect. So let's add that to MIDI OSC. Configure, hit configure, dial in this one, cutoff and resonance. We can show the automation for that and show the automation for this. If we want to show both, we can just do this, duplicate, and then show automation, resonance, show automation, cutoff. Now we have both resonance and resonance showing. So let's see what we do. Do that. Can mess around with it. Okay, see if it works. See, these knobs are moving. And there we get a wah. And you can see the resonance and the cutoff moving at the same time. So you can apply that to anything. You can apply it to any production you are doing. Hopefully learn something in the session about sound design and how to use that and apply it to your productions. Wide movement equals a wow sound. Tighter movement equals a yaw sound. And sharper resonance equals more of a wah sound. So I'm not adding more plugins. I'm just listening for speech sounds that I can use and incorporate in my productions. One more thing before we stop. If the bass repeats the exact same vowel forever, it's going to sound a little bit robotic. So you want to add a tiny bit of modulation to your sound over time. And the way you can do that is with an LFO, another LFO, or anything else. You can add that and just start modulating that over time. So the takeaways from this session are talking bass is filter movement, not distortion. And if your bass doesn't speak cleanly, distortion just makes it louder, not clearer. So get the mouth sound first before you dial in that wah sound. So tomorrow we're going to take this bass sound and Andy C's sound, and we're going to make it more aggressive but controlled, and add some wobble, maybe some speech, and just maybe some saturation as well. So I hope this helped you hear basses differently. Clip it, come back tomorrow, and we'll start a new session. Sound design is not about more tools. It's about better movement than more tools. So hopefully you learned something in this session about sound design. And yeah, I'll see you in the next live stream. Peace out. Keep sound designing, and I'll see you in the next one.